by asking about the allegations leveled today by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes that Trump transition officials, including the president, may have been swept up in surveillance of foreigners at the end of the Obama administration.
I know nothing about this. I was surprised to see reports from Chairman Nunes on that count today.
All right, that was Susan Rice only 2 weeks ago when she told PBS she knew nothing about the surveillance of the Trump transition team and members and the president-elect. Now, in a shocking turn of events, multiple sources now confirming that Susan Rice did know about the surveillance and was, in fact, responsible for the unmasking of Trump officials. Earlier today, when asked by the New York Times if he thought Susan Rice had committed a crime, the president responded, quote, "Do I think? Yes, I think." Joining us now with reaction, Deputy Assistant to the President, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. All right, you know a thing or two about intelligence, but you also know a thing or two about if somebody 2 weeks ago, I don't know anything about this, and then it's revealed she is doing the unmasking, she's got herself a huge credibility problem. But beyond that, what is she saying here by admitting unmasking?
Well, I think, Sean, you've accurately identified how the story is falling apart. If you compare what she said 2 weeks ago, if you compare just the difference in her statements in the last 36 hours, there's clearly something that is not being openly discussed or disclosed here. If you follow the discussions, the writings of people like Andy McCartney and others, there's the whole issue of FISA without FISA. So the potential for politically motivated use of the intelligence community to spy on individuals without the adequate warrants being obtained or the adequate permissions being followed, and simply using the authority she had as National Security Advisor to unmask individuals, and then add to it 8 days before the inauguration, saying we're going to just be able to share this incredibly sensitive signals intelligence intercepts with thousands of more people across government. You put all these pieces together and you see it's not just smoke, there's actually flames behind the smoke.
But Dr. Gorka, what you are describing is the weaponizing, if you will, the politicizing of our intelligence agencies, and it would have to have been done by the top people. Now, as you know, I have deep respect for those in intelligence. They put their lives on the line for us regularly. Their job is imperative in a world that has this much evil in it. But if you're going to use raw intelligence and unmask people that are political opponents, I mean, to me, this sounds like the beginning of a police state. Am I overstating that?
Look, it's at least a banana republic. The weaponization of the security services is what you expect in a banana republic and a police state or an authoritarian state. And let's look at one more piece of evidence. These individuals are politically appointed. I'm politically appointed. I serve as a commissioned officer of the president. So did she. So we understand that. But you're supposed to be a professional. I challenge your viewers right now to go to her Twitter feed and read her tweets after January the 20th and read her colleagues, Ben Rhodes and Colin Kahl, K-A-H-L. You will see who these people really are. The mask was taken off. Just 3 weekends ago, Colin Kahl used the word purge with regards to people like myself and Steve Bannon and the other people in the White House who they think should not be there. Purging is the kind of word that Maoists use. That's the kind of word that was used to get rid of people you politically disagree with, perhaps even in violent ways. So these people have unmasked themselves, Sean.
But Dr. Gorka, it should be the type of thing, as I understand, to even have access to this information, this process of unmasking, that it is in a secure area, that you are escorted in, that every single bit of raw intelligence that you are looking at should be recorded. All of this should be available to the American people. Why is it not being released in the sense that we know, did she only ask for the unmasking of either candidate Trump, President-elect Trump, the transition team, members of his cabinet? Did they only ask in this case, which would prove it's all politicized and weaponized?
Look, the president has been explicit here, Sean. We're going to allow the mandated authorities, the congressional committees, to do their work. We're not going to do witch hunts. That's what the left, radical, progressive political elite does with their enemies. So we're going to let the system deal with this as it should. But again, your guest, I listened to your radio show as I was coming in to the show today. You had a former operative talk about how it's not rocket science to engineer a network analysis of telephone calls, who's calling who. And if you want to attack me or Steve Bannon or Steve Miller or Kellyanne Conway, you say, oh, they regularly call their nephew in Canada. Well, that's a foreigner. Well, I don't need the same kind of intelligence authorities to intercept a foreign call. And then you start to find the way to unmask all of these conversations so that you can make political profit. That's a very, very tenable theory, and that's the kind of thing we have to find out if it was really happening, because if that's the case, that is weaponizing intelligence for political purposes against your other party.
And by its very definition, sir, you are describing something that is beyond Watergate on steroids and human growth hormone. Oh, correct?
Well, losing 14 minutes of audio tape in comparison to this is a little spat in the sandbox in the kindergarten, Sean.
Wow. Wow. All right. Thank you, Dr. Gorka. And where is the mainstream media?